Yeah,
that might as well happen.
Taking us wife on what?
Stop, goddammit.
Did you know that I love you? Were you aware?
Awful.
Oh, I love you too.
Stop, please.
Take it back. We're breaking up.
Again,
How
for the
many
second time.
breakups?
Let me just
how we
say
keep
that the
things
last
fresh over here.
person that tried to break up with me was, well, it wasn't pretty.
Carmen had a relationship before Rhiannon?
I can't hold it together.
Raph,
Say I'm
Raph,
going to
you
hell,
did
but I
this
think I'm
to
already
you.
there.
this bit is outside the light of God's love. That's all I'm going to say about how I feel about
And
it.
so am I. It's all canon. Don't you see?
I don't want to see. I miss who I was 10 minutes ago.
It's all according to plan. Alexa, play Taylor Swift's Mastermind.
Exactly. It's all good.
We are having
Everything
a
is
time
fine.
already.
I think of the people at this table, Carmen is the most likely to take a Taylor Swift grade private jet flight 4 minutes away.
You think Carmen?
Yeah. I think,
feel like that's an Abigail move.
I don't think I genuinely I don't think Abigail would do that, and I do think Carmen would.
I feel like Carmen would be like, it's only 4 minutes away. I'll walk, without realizing 4 minutes airplane and not 4 minutes walking. We got there 2 days later.
Oh no.
Yeah, no, that tracks.
It does.
Yeah,
It does.
it's fine.
Carmen, I'm going for a walk. Carmen, a calendar week later. I have finally arrived. I have made an error.
I'm here.
This was
where
all
you
according
at?
to
Like,
plan. Shut up.
WYA.
Buddy, you in
Where
London?
you at? What the fuck are you talking about? You've been missing for a week.
Like the ball was 3 days ago.
Had
There's
my
an
phone
APB.
in
What
my
are you
pocket,
doing?
Forgot I had it on silent.
Sorry, I was living in the moment for that walk.
Yeah. Sorry, my therapist told me to really breathe and like focus on being mindful and present in the moment.
That event was a week ago. Somebody didn't stop to smell the roses.
I was really focused on my path in the woods.
The most shocking
Sorry,
part
I was
about
just
it is
like
the idea
focusing
that
on
Carmen
me.
has a therapist.
That's what
My
they
therapist
think
is Father
Adams.
Adams. What do you mean?
Yeah,
That man
JD,
is
how
not
did
a
you not
licensed
get there?
therapist. You couldn't convince me of that.
Wait, where's the degree? Where's the certificates? What school?
Show me his licensing.
Where is it?
Do you ask your therapist these questions?
Yeah.
I didn't think so. I didn't think so. Anyway, how's
So
everybody
much-
tonight?
Are we? I was gonna say, are we less feral? But we're never less feral in this game.
Not in this
Nor
game.
should we
Perhaps
be.
more.
That's true.
Once we
Actually.
get into it, it's probably gonna get more feral, like at a rapid pace, I would imagine.
Messiest breakup of 1811.
At
Let's
a
go.
rabbit pace?
At a rapid
Rabbits are quick as fuck.
pace.
Zoom in.
What?
Zoomies. All
Anyway.
right.
We never
I'm
claimed
gonna-
to have the brain cell, okay? I want that on the record.
That's always been Abigail's table.
It's true.
Just see, this is just gonna make Will keep doing the see we're the real table one. When half of us here are from the OG table one.
It's true. All right, I am gonna then bring us in because I feel like if I don't, this
Please
is just
don't.
gonna keep like going off the rails. Hi, welcome. We are live from the apocalypse. We are a not-for-profit TTRPG studio that raises money for
Weird.
aid organizations and good causes. It's gonna be fine, Raph. Just breathe. Practice that breathing.
Practice that mindfulness. I'm in the
Be in the
forest. I'm
moment.
walking.
As Raph breathes, I will continue the introduction. So, as noted, we focus our efforts on doing live streams of games and live recordings of podcasts. And during these live streams, we are raising money for a variety of different causes. Currently, we are fundraising for Doctors Without Borders, who are doing important work in multiple countries that are experiencing atrocities right now, including in Palestine. And so we ask that at any point during the stream, if you would have given us any of that fake cryptocurrency and subs or bits or anything like that, that instead you just click the donate button, which is where the subscribe button would usually be, and you give that money directly to Doctors Without Borders. It is never an expectation that you donate. We just would rather any money that is funneled into us go directly to the cause that we are serving. If you do that, the McElroy brothers will yell, specifically at me. The cast may yell as well in solidarity, and I will be distracted. So if I am doing anything that requires concentration, that is an extra great time to donate because you will completely throw me off. We do have to tell you, as Steph demonstrated earlier, like the monster that she is, we have not been able to get rid of the subscribe button. It is possible to find. Don't you dare do that ooh-woo, look at me, especially after what Raph has done today already. If you find the subscribe button, just please be forewarned that for every month you have been subscribed, beloved Dimension 20 Dungeon Master Brennan Lee Mulligan will kill one dog. How many was that? Was that 26 dogs?
26 good dogs got their wings.
Wow, and you're the person who was not Darkest Self.
Excuse you.
Excuse me.
For
Yeah.
now.
For
One
now.
of two people who was not
Half the
Darkest Self.
table. Half the table is not dark.
We're fine.
For once, usually Rhiannon is by now.
For now. Yeah, we're having a normal one. I wouldn't worry about it. Okay. I think that is all of the intro stuff I have to say. Oh yeah, just a reminder, just a casual thing that might be important. There are various things that you can use your channel points to buy. This includes good stuff, and it includes the opposite of good stuff.
We didn't use it last time, by the way. I don't know if you
Was it good stuff last time?
It
Or was
was
it
for
bad?
Of course
me.
it wasn't.
It was for
Be
me.
nice.
So
Use your channel points wisely.
Mhm.
Please.
I mean, you have to remember when you redeemed good stuff, we got a talking horse from hell. So
We did.
horse-shaped creature from hell. I'm sorry.
Legally
So,
distinct.
legally distinct. So, keep that in mind. Honestly, most times when we've gotten bad stuff, I haven't used much of it because the cast has made choices that led to bad stuff happening all for themselves. But I'll keep, any good stuff, bad stuff in mind as we move forward. You can also use various reactions, and that's always a good time. But I think with that, we are ready, or as ready as we're going to be. Thank you, Cass. I've made a note that there has been some good stuff redeemed. I feel like, yep, I was like, somebody's gonna come in.
Raph, this is your table.
We're already in hell.
So we got good stuff, we got bad stuff, maybe times two. It's fine. Don't worry about it. This is gonna go great. So this is our Regency-flavored Monsterhearts game. And before we fully dive in, I am just going to give a few content warnings because of where we left off in the last session. So please keep in mind that as we dive into today's session, abusive relationship dynamics are going to be a pretty central part of the plot. This includes manipulative, verbally abusive, and controlling behaviors. We are, of course, as always, using safety tools. And if at any point we need to stop and step away from the scene, we will. I will be checking in with the cast throughout as well. But for you, as the viewer, if this would cross any lines for you, make you have to sit through something that for you is personally traumatic and or difficult to sit with, please do not force yourself to watch. We have plenty of other streams on this channel, and we would much rather you prioritize yourself and your well-being. And so with that, we are going to begin at the Carewood estate. The grounds are still shrouded in fog. It is difficult to see anything clearly, though we can see the vague outline of what Carmen has been building out there in the backyard. Out where he and his brother were saved. Out where a portal has been identified. The house from the outside is silent. It looks almost uninhabited. There are a few flickering lights from different rooms, but there is no sign of staff. There is no sign of anything but the four, well, technically five, who are upstairs in, if I am remembering correctly, Rhiannon's room.
In the hall outside Rhiannon's room, right?
Barely.
Or were we... Okay, in Rhiannon's room. I couldn't remember exactly if we stepped inside or not.
You had been in the room when everything went down. You had gotten to the door when you were stopped.
Gotcha. Yay.
And we are standing there in this moment as Carmen has just fixed a collar around Rhiannon's neck. Right before easily removing the threat of the ghost of their father. A moment that Octavia and Elise witnessed. Seeing Rhiannon then run, only for Carmen to tell her to stop and her to freeze. Which is when Octavia and Elise stepped through the mirror, stepping out of Fairy, where they had been stuck for a brief time to make some realizations about themselves and each other. And so at this time, I am going to ask you, what would you like to do?
Is this a question for the full table or just for...
It is. All four of you are in the room.
Great. I think as soon as Octavia and Elise step through the mirror, Carmen looks over at them. His face is very easy to read. He is afraid. There is deep worry in his eyes. And he looks at the two of them and just says, "Thank the Father you are here. Rhiannon is not well."
I can talk, right? Didn't say not to.
You can talk.
Rhiannon just kind of looks betrayed, but also like enraged, and is just like, Carmen is lying, and I need this collar off my neck. You don't get to decide when or how I use my powers, Carmen.
Please understand.
No.
He is not addressing Rhiannon. She is becoming a danger to herself. And I need your help. Please. I'm worried.
Did you put that collar on her?
I had no choice.
Yes, you did.
No.
We came here to get rid of my father's ghost, but apparently that was just a trick.
It was not a trick.
Who made him go away then?
I did. But that wasn't a trick. You were scrambling. You were worried about something that I took care of. Octavia, Elise, please understand. I know what it's like to wear that thing. I would never use it unless it is absolutely necessary.
I think Octavia's just going to start moving towards Rhiannon. Walking. Keeping an eye on Carmen.
He still has the demon.
What?
He lied about... He lied to me when he said Azazel was gone. Didn't you? And I believed you, but he's still here.
Question JD. Carmen has never heard the name Azazel.
He has not. You don't know what Rhiannon's talking about.
I literally don't.
You don't.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that.
You just were talking about Father Adams.
Rhiannon, I don't know what you're talking about. Please, Octavia, Elise.
Father Adams,
you
his
can
true
do
name is
something to help
Azazel.
her.
Listen to me.
That doesn't make any sense.
Because he's lying to you.
Oh, it's because you are tired and you need rest.
How do you think this is making me rest, Carmen?
Don't you think you are a bit... Again, turns to Octavia and Elise. After everything that she's been through, so many people trying to hurt her, she hasn't had a chance to stop. She hasn't had a chance to breathe. She needs to rest. You care about her, don't you? You've seen her. You must be worried. I'm begging you.
Rhiannon, do you want that collar off?
Yes.
Okay. Elise,
Yes.
if Carmen tries to stop me, can you...
Carmen, did she make you worry for your life? Did she threaten you?
She threatens herself.
I would appreciate an answer to my question, please. Did she hurt you?
No.
Where is Father Adams? I think Elise takes a step to Carmen. Very calm.
I don't think Carmen moves. He's watching.
What does he think of all this? I'm just trying to understand the story, you understand?
He wants the same thing I do.
Mm.
He wants to protect Rhiannon.
Why does he care so much?
Because I made him care.
Rhiannon, I need you to hold still.
I can't move.
Octavia, don't.
This might hurt a little bit,
I
or it's
don't
going to
care.
get really cold.
That's fine. I'll get better. I don't care. Just get
You're
it off
going
of
to
me.
hurt her.
You already did.
No. I'm protecting her.
Do you know what it's like to be caged, Carmen?
You ask me that. Of
Yes,
course
it's clear
I
by
do.
your actions you've put that in question.
Which is why I said I would never do anything unless it was absolutely necessary. In which case, and in this case, it is.
Damien and Abigail were trying to exorcise the demon. They were never going to keep you there permanently. And yeah, Damien, he was wrong to put the collar on you without talking this through first.
Damien never once spoke to me. It took just one small glinted tear from a lie from Abigail for him to turn. To believe that I was the threat. When I've done nothing but protect everyone around me.
He didn't believe you were the threat. He believed Father Adams was the threat and Father Adams would hurt you.
And what has he done? Truly, to hurt you, to hurt Octavia, to hurt Elise, to hurt me, to hurt anyone here.
Well, he seemed to convince you collaring me was a good idea.
After... Rhiannon, do you see the runes on the floor?
Yes.
They're not right. You are tired.
Elise, you would recognize that what
I was
Carmen
just
is
gonna
saying is
say.
true.
Yeah, looking at these runes, can I tell what they're meant to do or what they would actually accomplish?
Steph, your goal was to create like a banishing spell.
Yeah, to get rid of my dad.
And so you would be able to gauge, Elise, that this was meant to be a banishing ritual. And in looking at the way the runes have been placed on the floor and the mistakes that are there, you realize that this could have become a summoning ritual.
There was panic. In your eyes, you were frantic. How was I supposed to stop you? You are so strong, so powerful, both in mind and spirit. I can't let you hurt yourself.
Why not talk to me?
Do you think talking to you while your father was present
I was afraid he was going to hurt us both, Carmen. I would have corrected my mistake. I was in a rush to remove the threat after what happened.
Exactly. You haven't been able to stop and think, to stop and take a breath. You almost rushed in here. You almost rushed into so many different dangerous situations. Who was the one who pulled you back? Who was the one who protected you every single time?
You and Octavia before with my father.
You must understand,
And Elise now.
Octavia. We care about you, Rhiannon.
This is a very poor way of showing it, given that you know what my father did to me.
Carmen, I believe that you want to help, or that you think you're helping, but you saw her caged as I did that night. And yes, she's strong, and we're all very, very impulsive people. I think I at least could admit to that. But we were free to make those mistakes.
Tater!
He's free to take, you know?
He's free to take.
He's free to take.
Rhiannon is my friend, above all else, and I would not see her caged again, regardless of what dangers she might have thrust herself into. And I hope you can forgive me, but I can't give you a choice in this matter.
There is no choice, Octavia.
You have a choice. Whether you believe it or not, you have a choice.
Carmen, I didn't rush in downstairs. When Prince Abraham was in the office, I was going to seal the door shut. I wasn't rushing in to confront him.
Rhiannon, you weren't able to seal that door.
You stepped in and did it, but I could have done it on my own.
We can work together.
That's what I thought we were doing.
That's what I would like to do. You need time to heal. And I'm sorry it has to be this way.
I can start healing when Father Adams is back in hell.
This obsession with Father Adams, when all he's done is help.
Is it helping right now? What you've done to me? How you've isolated yourself from Damien?
Damien made his choice.
He made a horrible decision because he loves you and he didn't want to lose you.
And you forgive him for that.
It's not mine to forgive. But he was brave enough to take the risk of losing you to try to save you.
And you can forgive me right now. I'm trying to save you, Rhiannon. My actions, as you see them, are no different than his. You glorify his choices and demonize mine. I think it's because you do not understand. Not yet.
I don't understand why you're listening to that demon instead of talking with me. I saw him in the smoke when I stopped the exorcism. I thought I was doing the right thing, but he stayed. He stayed, and everything is worse now.
How's everything worse?
Look at me, Carmen! Look at us!
Exactly. I am alive. Damien is alive. The Autumn Court was able to present themselves. You think that was normal?
The Autumn Court. That was
Yes.
him too?
Explains a lot.
What else has been him, Carmen?
Not much. I ask of him only one thing. To protect the person I care about the most. That no harm should fall on them. And he has kept that promise.
I would say right now he's not keeping that promise because this is.
I would say he is, if I would have let you summon whatever you were going to accidentally summon into your own home. I took care of your father for you. I can shoulder your burdens. Let me just do this for you so you can just rest. You are allowed to take a break. Take some time for yourself. Hand over your problems to me. That is what I'm here for.
I could rest without this. Without this cutting me off from what I am.
You are ambitious. You seek refuge in your magic.
My magic is a part of who I am, just as surely as Octavia's fey nature is a part of who she is, just as all the gifts Elise has are a part of what they are, just as your talents are as part of what you are, and it's not right for you to cut me off from mine just because you don't think I can handle all the responsibilities I have on my own.
I think you are more than capable. And I'm not saying that this has to be forever. I just need you to rest. Just for a moment. Then I will throw that collar away.
I've heard enough. And Octavia's going to reach up and try to freeze part of the collar enough to break it.
Octavia, the moment you do that, Carmen, you see this happen, and it might be of your own volition, it might not, but your hand raises. And you stretch it out, and that cold stays locked inside of you, Octavia. Nothing is able to escape. Mechanically, Raph, you're going to burn your string on Octavia. And it is like you are grasping a thread. And you are
As I
stopping
said,
her.
there is no choice. Step away.
What did you do to me?
You feel yourself pushed a step back, Octavia.
Carmen, what are you doing?
Only what is right for you.
No, she's our
darling.
friend, Carmen.
JD, I have
And I have not hurt her.
a question. If I may follow this impulse to step back into a more fluid motion of, I would say maybe like a tackle or a lunge, maybe.
Towards Carmen?
Yeah.
I'm going to say the step back you have no control over. It is just something that happens. But
I'm just saying
if
I'd like
you
to follow the
shift
movement
your
after the
balance,
fact.
Will! No more bad stuff! What the
Will, you didn't have to
Listen,
do
Abigail
that.
and
Aw,
Carmen
you shouldn't
are
have.
nemesis. Will and me got same brain.
you know what? Let's lash out physically,
I'm
Octavia.
lashing out physically.
Let's go.
I don't want to get the sword out yet, but I will.
What do I do with that? Is there a way for me to like defend?
There
Hold on, let me pull up the
isn't,
chat.
but we have
Oh,
a
heard.
few different things that could get a little fun here.
I don't like it when you say
Okay.
things when
Oh,
I'm
no.
trying to do
I need
things.
to pull up my character sheet.
With volatile, I think Octavia is a little bit volatile. Never mind. Not very volatile at all.
Honestly,
But that's
same.
okay. That is an 11 down to a 10 with -1 to volatile.
What? Hell yeah.
Quick
Sick 'em.
point of order. If Octavia is lunging at Carmen,
Mm-hmm.
Elise is stepping between them.
Oh!
I'm going to allow that, and so I'm then going to ask Octavia, as you see a flash of movement, given that you did roll a 10, do you continue forward and tackle Elise instead? Or do you choose to stop yourself?
I think there is a brief half a second where it looks like Octavia isn't gonna stop, and then like just a full heel dug into the floor, and then a stumble back to avoid impact.
Why don't we all take a breath?
It's all I ask for. Can I don't know how this works specifically. I don't know if this is a roll or what. But I can see that Octavia
Please. God damn it.
has a widow condition called Insecure. And I'm wondering if Carmen, when Elise throws herself in front of him, just like over her shoulder, just give Octavia a look. And I don't know how I can like use that, but I would like to, if possible.
2 questions. Okay, so one,
Absolutely.
I love this. One question. What are you hoping to convey with that look, and what are you hoping for the effect to be?
Interesting question. I think the look is saying interesting. Thank you, Will. I think the look is saying you're wrong, step down. Like clearly you're in the wrong here because your best friend just stepped in the way. Like, rethink. And I think there's a bit of aggression behind it for sure. And then I think what I would like to happen would be for okay, this might be like a multiple layered thing. I would like for Octavia. Well, I would like for Father Adams to help Carmen make Octavia understand the situation.
This is a wild thing to have to do, Raph, but add to that list of strings in the black space, because Father Adams
Incredible
does indeed help. And Octavia, as you see Elise step between you and Carmen, and you see that look that Carmen gives you, several things go through your head. One is, you could have just hurt someone you care about deeply. And sure, it wouldn't have been intentional, but that wouldn't have changed the impact. And what made you move towards something violent like this, towards not just one, but 2 friends? And you step back because you're thinking about the fact that you handled things that night with your Uncle Laszlo. Or did you? That wasn't really you. That was because you had help. That was because Abigail helped you. And now you're wearing this crown that doesn't belong to you, and maybe shouldn't be on your head. You've had so many doubts about your ability to rule. And you're not even the queen in this moment. You're a friend. And you have no idea what to do or who to help. But Elise, they may be seeing things more clearly than you are. Elise is level-headed. What have you missed? What have you not heard? What made you respond just on instinct rather than listen to what Carmen had to say? Because now not only has Rhiannon apparently been behaving recklessly, now you've behaved recklessly as well.
Elise,
Yes.
you have 2 minutes.
Elise, how do you feel about the fact that Octavia just gave you a time limit?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think there's a flash of annoyance. And then it's back to that sweet, obedient disposition. And I think she just nods, smiles very sweetly, and without sort of like turning back to Carmen. You heard the Queen? Let's have a walk, shall we? And we'll head towards some sort of, because we're in the hall, or are we in the room?
You're still in the bedroom.
I think we'll just step out into the hall.
Question. Just the three of us?
She's talking to Carmen.
Oh. Just the two of us.
No, just the three of you.
You know what?
Well, you know.
Wow.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Just the 2.5 of us. Come on. Okay. I think Carmen just kind of like gestures toward the door. Throughout this whole interaction, other than when Carmen yelled, I think his face has been fairly neutral, with just a tinge of worry. But there's been a lot of control behind his face.
Before you step out, Carmen, as you are moving past Octavia, you look at her and say, "You will not take any action until I return."
And I will add, remember, you are a queen now, and your actions have consequences. And then I walk out the door, following Elise.
I think Elise watches this, was clearly going to say something to Octavia. Doesn't feel she needs to. Interesting. Let's have a chat, bestie.
Darkest self.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. Oh
We're having
no.
a normal one, a normal and regular
We're
one.
having a super normal one.
2 minutes on the clock.
Yeah.
And I think like doesn't sort of just like ambling along without a purpose, sort of getting just auditory distance from the door. Is the father with us?
JD, how present is Father Adams, one, at this moment, and but then two, does he want to present himself, I guess is the question. Like, how presentable does he choose to be?
That is a good question. And so, I mean, he is always with you, Carmen. And so you know that he is here. He is aware of things that are going on. His presence has been discussed already within this group. He doesn't seem to think that there is a harm in acknowledging that he is present.
Okay. I think Carmen looks down at his fingers that are dipped in this black dirt and says, "The Father is always with us." Why?
And I just want to understand your intentions.
Of course.
If you say Rhiannon is dangerous, is reckless at the moment, I am not opposed to taking you at your word. But I need to know that you are not doing the same. You said it was yourself who banished her father, yes?
Correct. I take no glee in it. But he was here trespassing and posed a threat. Rhiannon wanted to seal the door, but we know what Abraham can do. So I thought it best to banish him instead.
Why now? As
I
I
don't
understand it, he's been in that attic for weeks now.
Rhiannon's father.
Yes. How long has Father Abrams been helping you? Adams, I can speak English. Has he only just now given you the power to do this?
Father Adams has been with me since my rebirth. He helped baptize me back into life. He does not grant me power without thought. I cannot choose to do things willingly at any point. He understands my intentions and then helps me act upon them. Rhiannon's father has been here. He was taken care of for the most part.
What do you mean?
Carmen,
He was locked
before
in...
you have a chance to answer, Father Adams speaks through you, and it still sounds to you, Elise, like Carmen, and
Beautiful.
just says, Elise, that's the piece that I think you are beginning to understand, but Octavia doesn't. I wanted to support Rhiannon in figuring out how to handle things with their father. And that is why I did not make that choice or act sooner. She had control. She had kept him contained to a specific part of the house, and it wasn't enough. And because of that, we had to rush back here tonight, and I saw the exact reason why it wasn't enough. They have been so caught up in what is happening and what has happened to them that Rhiannon is making mistakes. And I only intervened with the help of Father Adams when it was clear to me that the outcome was going to be catastrophic.
So you see, my methods were drastic, I suppose. The consequences of what could have happened, of what could still happen, and she's reckless. Could be so much worse.
So you thought it best, or perhaps Father Adams thought it best, to make those decisions for her. When it was enough, when it was not enough, when it was time to let her learn and try her own ways, and when it was time to step in yourself. Yes?
I only stepped in when she proved she was being dangerous to herself. I have not stepped in before, other than to help her.
Have you considered that perhaps she wanted you to? Did you ask? She wanted your help. She
Do you
cares for
have
you,
to?
Carmen.
Do you have to ask the person that stands by you at all times? Must you ask them for help?
I
I
think
can read her
you
more
must.
than anyone.
You cannot read her more than herself. Perhaps it is you that is being reckless, thinking you can see through people, thinking that you can read them like a book and not like a person. Perhaps she wanted help earlier. Perhaps she did not want to learn how best to handle this. Perhaps she wanted to act rashly. Perhaps she wanted your help to do so. For rash and safe to coexist. Or does Father Adams not let you think like that?
I appreciate your opinion, Elise. You know I do. You are someone that I have grown close to and I trust. But you haven't seen her.
And how can you be sure that you have?
If she swears me off, then so be it. I've dedicated my life to protecting her. She's the only one I will stand by. they can choose to not have me by their side. I will always extend a helping hand.
You would forsake everything for her. You love her.
I would throw away the world.
Would you throw away him? Would you? If you wanted to.
It's starting to sound like Abigail.
Broken clock is right twice a day and all that. All this magic and demons and gods and things, it's a bit foreign to me. I'm quite curious how it all works.
I can be transparent if you'd like. For me, I was offered a choice in standing on the bridge between life and death, and not just my own, but my brother's as well. Father Adams was the one who approached me. The ritual was going to fail. Rhiannon would lose. And so would my brother. And so would I. So he offered me a deal. He said he would bring me back. And I told him under the condition that no harm was to come to Rhiannon. And no harm has. I see we live with devils among us as if it is quite normal. And as I've said, Father Adams has only helped. Not only myself, not only Rhiannon, but the Tom, the Fae worlds. I do not understand why I'm constantly called into question.
And I think with that, Carmen, and I'll let you choose which pieces of this to share, but that question of would you give up Father Adams, which you have been asked so many times, all you can think about is the way in which no one else is being asked to give up those pieces of themselves. You may have temporarily blocked Rhiannon from using their magic, but as she said, that is a part of her. Elise's gifts are a part of them. Octavia's magic is a part of her. Abigail's demonic nature is connected to her. Every single person around you has these gifts which can be volatile and dangerous. Yet you are the only one who is continually being asked to separate yourself from that because they want you to be weak. They don't want you to have that power. They don't think you deserve it.
I don't think you met me before last season. But I was mortal then. before my brother passed, before I was killed. Being brought back the first time, my brother was a part of me. And now being brought back again, I have another who is a part of me as well. Can you ask someone to split their soul? Do you think that's fair?
I think perhaps you don't realize how similar we are, Carmen. It's true, I had not met you before last season, but you had not met me either. You know what I am now, yes? I have not been that for long. I know what it is to be mortal. And I also know what it is to be given the guise of a choice. To be on the brink of death and given the option of some sort of life as if it's a gift. And I know how much of a choice that truly isn't. I know how it feels to be a wounded animal lashing out. I understand that the Father has given you things. And I can understand not wanting to be separated from that. It's power, yes? It's freedom, in a way, compared to the alternative you were given. How things could have gone. But to pretend that that is a choice that you made, that you ever had the option of not choosing it. You give him far too much credit. I understand what it is to have a being of great power stand over you and serve you servitude on a silver platter and tell you that that is a life.
And if what you say is true, if our true selves are so similar, would you give up who you are? Has anyone asked that of you?
Carmen, I do not have that luxury.
What makes you think I do?
That is what I was afraid of. I simply want to understand what you have been made to do and what you have chosen. If we need to placate your headmate, I am all too familiar with the concept. Not even opposed most days. But I think it is about time that the two of us had a goddamn choice in the matter. Don't you?
I think Carmen looks down at his fingers again. And honestly, this proposition from Elise, the one person who is not demanding Carmen to get rid necessarily of Father Adams, and that is the first person to understand that there is no choice and there never was. I think there is a part of him looking over to the door and thinking about what is beyond that. Rhiannon with the collar, and Octavia waiting. But it is truly a deep-rooted power. So if you'll allow me, JD, I think if I can roll to see, I don't know if this is keep your cool or what. I am also dark to self, so I don't know how that would work. But yeah.
I think keep your cool could make sense. I do
Okay.
want to ask in this moment, though, what is Carmen afraid of? What is he wondering about in terms of outcomes, even if fear is not the predominant emotion?
I think that it is deeply rooted in fear. There's a fear of multiple layers. He's afraid that if he breaks his contract, because that's what it is, it's not just taking Father Adams out and, sunshine and rainbows. It's breaking a contract with someone and what the implications of that means. Everything that Father Adams has provided for him, which he has kept his promise by keeping Rhiannon safe and keeping the people that he cares about safe. Without his guidance and his power, I don't know if Carmen would be able to keep that promise to himself. And then a more underlying, somewhat selfish reason is that Father Adams was the one who brought him back. So if he breaks his contract with Father Adams, would that be broken as well? He's very afraid of dying again, but for real this time. Yeah.
Because you are darkest self, I'm not going to have you roll.
Okay, that makes sense.
You're considering this, Carmen, and all of those fears are coming up, and you blink, and you're back in that graveyard again.
Fuck.
And Father Adams is standing there. He's not looking at you. He's looking at the crypt of the Deloso family.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking at the inscription for the stones that mark you and your brother, which have today's date. He does not say anything to you.
Father. It was not. It was just a passing thought. It meant nothing. I swore an oath. And I intend to keep it.
What reason have I given you to doubt me, my son?
It's just that. What if we are hurting her? What if she's in pain? I don't think it's fair that I'm the only one who's being called to split myself in two. But then why? Why does everyone demand it? Even them? I can't feel, but perhaps they speak some sort of truth. I can't help but feel that doubt. I know what you have done for me, for Damien, for Rhiannon.
And you would
Father, I am
reject that
scared.
all. You would reject everything I have done for you and those I love that you love. And he does say that. There is that catch.
What? Sorry, what?
Don't worry about it, Steph. You're not in
No,
the scene.
what?
You're elsewhere. And he just continues on as though that did not happen and says, I have done nothing more than what you have asked of me. And now that I ask anything of you, suddenly you want to break our contract. Now you listen to all of those other voices that you are elevating over mine. You know why they demand that of you, Carmen? It's because they want you to be like what you were before. You were nothing without Damien. You were nothing before you happened to be caught in the crossfire in Damien's death. Your own parents cared more about your brother than you. You were only ever a puppet for them. You were a consolation prize. And that is all these voices, that of Octavia, that of Rhiannon, that of Elise. That is all they want you to be, and that is what you will be.
I know. I do not wish to go back to who I was. I was weak. And it seems a piece of my past came to light today. Or it was weakness that made me question you. I apologize. Please. You have done so much for me. Let me do this for you. I will not doubt you. How can I make them see that? They will fight me.
You are lucky, my son, that I am so beneficent. I would like for them to see you as you are. Perhaps they would understand if they could see everything you are and everything you can be, though they seem quite determined to maintain their own narratives in the face of all other evidence to the contrary, in the face of Rhiannon's clear mistakes in the banishing ritual. They do not seem concerned over that. They only seem concerned that you are connected to me. But I think we can make them see. And he turns to you, and he walks over, and he rests his hand against your cheek. And he smiles and says, "We can make them see together." And that is where we're going to take our break.
No,
Hey, come on
Lisa
now.
was making progress.
We're
All
having
according
babe.
to plan.
casual time. We're having a chill time. Nothing bad is happening. Don't worry about it.
Nothing bad ever happens to the Ton.
Nothing bad
Nothing
happens.
We'll be back in 10 minutes. Get some water, stretch your legs. See you soon. Yeah, no, repeat
That's
that.
danger
Repeat that, JT.
Taking me live with a face full of
It's
granola
fine.
bar. Okay.
So I haven't
Sorry about
interacted
that,
with the
kid.
Delosos since post their resurrection, right? Because I helped, right? Octavia was there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, Octavia was there. Octavia,
Common for the most
I just
part.
realized Octavia
doesn't remember.
and Abigail
Yeah.
have seen both me and my brother absolutely raw ass naked.
Yep.
That's true.
I mean, Abigail had already seen your brother that
I
way, I'm
assumed,
sure.
yeah.
Listen,
I
But
feel a little left out, not gonna lie.
as far as I, as an observer, can tell, the Delosos' resurrection has been nothing but bad for London. So there's very few conclusions I can reach about that, right? As a
literally,
person,
okay,
What did Damien do?
what's Carmen done? Carmen has literally saved the world multiple times without asking anything from anyone.
your sugar daddy is degrading the veil between planes, Carmen.
Mhm. You made
Sounds like
Abraham
somebody else's
forget his
problem.
daughter. Why was that necessary?
That
It's
was a
really
personal
funny.
thing.
Yeah, why was that necessary, Carmen?
Listen, you know how you you know how you have fantasies about your high school bullies. I was just given an opportunity.
Abigail's dad did nothing to Carmen.
That's just my opinion. That's
He just
all I'm
got
saying.
caught. He caught strays in the middle of his shit.
Listen,
I mean, that's like the name of this game. That's just what happens here.
Catching strays.
That's the official subtitle for this season is Catching Strays.
Season 4 subtitle,
of
Catching Stray.
A season of strays and shadows.
yeah.
And so we're gonna pick back up as
Incredible.
Elise and Carmen are talking in the hallway. We've left Octavia and Rhiannon in the bedroom.
Can I move, or am I still stuck?
You are still stuck.
Fuck off. Okay.
You haven't been given permission to move. The last order you were given was stay, and Carmen did not say that had stopped, nor did Father Adams.
Okay, that's fine. I'm just standing there. Rhiannon is going from enraged to more just like, as the arguments had gone on, she was just thinking, oh no, Carmen is making this sound too logical. Oh no. But clearly Octavia and Elise want to know everything and aren't just going to believe that story, and just seeing how everything went down and now just still stuck in her room. The irony is not lost on her. It's just this sense of like, failure, because she's back in almost the same position Octavia is here this time. But she is once more stuck, helpless, in her room, in her house. And she just kind of takes a deep breath and just says, I am very sorry you're caught in the middle of this mess, Octavia.
I'm very sorry. This is the only time we can get to be alone is when one of us is trapped.
I know. I really wish we'd had more time at the ball before everything had gone downhill tonight.
I acted rashly at the ball, and I fear that may have hurt the situation in its entirety. If we had just come to meet you, you might not be shackled.
I don't hold that on you. I I hold that on Carmen and Azazel. I I do you know what I'm doing wrong, Octavia?
As far as I can tell, nothing. I, I think perhaps Elise is seeing something that I don't, but I don't think that Carmen has an excuse for what he's done to you. And if I could help you right now, I would, but
I know. And I really do appreciate that you tried, and thank you for that.
I have an idea, but I don't. I want your permission first.
What's the idea?
I'm gonna try to contact Helix.
To have him come over and help?
To have him come over and take actions that I cannot take. I am the queen, my actions have consequences, but Helix is not the queen. I just need you to know that I don't know how Carmen's gonna fare. And I'm sorry, but I need your permission to do this.
I don't want you in that position, Octavia.
I've been in that position since my cousin died.
I know.
What's one more thing? As far as I'm concerned, my family can never do enough to apologize to you.
I
I
I
know
don't
that it's not my fault, but you deserve to live a life where you're free to make your choices. It
I
wasn't
agree.
going to happen with your father, which is why we did what we did. And right now, I don't think it's going to happen with him. At least until he can see that he's causing a lot more harm than he thinks he is.
What why does he trust this demon more than me?
I have a few ideas, but none of them are. Typically, people who come to make deals with the Fae are in a more than desperate situation, and it's never good for them, and it's always good for us. So Father Adams gave him something that he desperately wanted, and he doesn't have a way out, or he doesn't want an out because he lost the ability to want that.
Father Adams made the ritual work. The
The one
ritual,
from your garden?
the one you and Abigail helped me with, that I was so close to getting, and it unraveled. And it shouldn't have worked, and I would have tried again, but they were fine.
You have to stop blaming yourself for that.
How, when it's led to all of this?
Love makes us do stupid things. Those stupid things are mistakes, but they're just going to hold you back if you keep harping on them. You're a lot stronger than you continue to let yourself be, I think.
What if I'm not, Octavia, what if I'm not as strong as I think I am, or as everyone thinks I am.
Then you get stronger. You find a way. You either get stronger or you get smarter. I didn't deserve this crown, and I took it anyway. Because if I didn't, bad things were going to happen. And now that bad things are happening, I have no one to blame but myself. Which, in retrospect, is initially why I started that crusade.
Yes, your uncle was rather poorly suited for the position.
But that's exactly my point. You're not. The difference between me and him, and the difference between you and your dad, is that you have to be able to recognize your mistakes and learn from them instead of letting yourself wallow in them. I replay that night every day when I wake up. Could I have done something different? Could I have left Abigail and Astrid out of it? But I couldn't. And that's not bad. And right now, we can't leave Helix out of this. They're smarter than me. And they're not bound to Carmen like we are.
Well, if one of your theories is right and that Carmen is stuck with this connection, then wouldn't
I think we can help him. If it's a deal or something, there's nothing we're better at. But I need your permission to try. And I need you to know that it might not work. And that needs to be okay.
I I'd like to see if Elise has been able to reach him in some way before acting like that. And he might be suspicious of you doing something. It might make sense to use caution.
I mean no offense when I say this, but I don't think that Carmen understands just how in tune I am with the specifics of commands and magic. I will tell Helix to take his time and gauge the situation before they arrive, or take action. If it seems under control, they will stand down.
Do you do you promise not to have him intervene unless the situation is out of control?
That's a tricky one, because that relies on Helix using their judgment. I promise I will relay that to them.
Would it be easier if it was not acting until I said that he had permission to?
another tricky one because we cannot know when they would arrive.
If the situation gets out of control, I think that Carmen has already hurt me, as has his demon, but I don't think it would go much further. I think perhaps it might make sense for you and Elise to appear to acquiesce, if only for your safety and if only to drop the demon's guard. And perhaps, I don't know, this wasn't supposed to happen. He swore to me he was gone, but
You humans break promises all the time.
yes, and while I know it's different from your people's type of promise, I thought it still meant something to us.
I'm sorry it has come to this.
I would hug you if that were permissible, but I still cannot move, so.
I couldn't hug you back. I'm not to take any actions.
Of course. Well, in case things, in case there's not much time to talk, you know, the demon's name is Azazel. I don't know what he wants here. He does seem to be making the veil thin, but I don't know how much Elise has told you about our sojourn into hell that one time, but I acted rashly and I made a tree of mixing together the different elements of earth and heaven and in hell. And that was unwise of me and very rash, and Carmen destroyed it, but I think the roots are still in the ground there. What I felt is when you felt my hand burn you tonight, I got the sense that there was still a connection there, and I don't know if Azazel could use that to his advantage in any way, and I don't know if there's anything you or Elise could do about it, but if anything, could you send word of that to the seneschal, because that would be her purview, and for balance, and maybe well, Astrid has enough on her plate worrying about where Mr. Black went, but I don't know if you could pass that to Abigail and let her know that it seems that the demon banished her father.
I can only contact Helix, but I can have them send a steward or something to relay all of that information
To the seneschal? Yes, send all of that information to the seneschal.
to the
I
seneschal.
just need, someone needs to be aware of the extent of what is going on.
I will try to get that information out.
Thank you.
This might take a minute.
That's all right. I appreciate that, Octavia.
JD, I would like to use my Fey move Beyond the Veil.
That was what I was going to recommend.
There is no Fairy King for me to contact anymore, so it's Helix now.
I think that completely tracks.
What is Gaze into the Abyss? What stat do I roll for that one? Roll with Dark. Okay. Octavia makes a little. She can't. I'm just gonna use her sword for this. It's the only reflective thing she can generate with her powers right now. Woo!
Let's go.
Is that with hot? I'm really good at hot, I think. Well, with dark. Never mind. I'm regular at dark. So that is just going to be a 10 and a 5 and a 5. Die.
Okay.
The dice love me.
Okay. So, Octavia, what does it look like as you use this reflective surface to call out to Helix?
So Everfrost is a typically just like a nice icy blue. But when Octavia pierces the veil to talk to Helix, it sort of glazes over and it gets the look of frosted glass. If you guys are familiar with this sort of sheen that it gives, and it shows only Helix in a sort of fog created by the frost um, in her attempt to contact him.
Out of curiosity, is this the first time you have used this particular method to contact Helix?
I will say after her coronation, before like the being the queen anxieties sort of began to mellow out, she would use it probably pretty often to contact them, even if they were in the castle, to just be like, "Hey, is this is this okay? Does this look okay?"
And so I think with that, Helix isn't necessarily panicked, though it has been a strange evening. And so, what is Octavia's expression and what are her first words as they come into view?
Her expression is anxious. Helix would know it well. She's very afraid right now. And her first words would be, "Helix, I am sorry I left you. We don't have a lot of time."
What is happening, Octavia?
So I tripped into ferry with Elise. We found ourselves at the Deloso estate, and things have taken a turn for the worst.
Oh, Carewood Estate.
Carewood estate, sorry. The Carewood estate, and things have taken a turn for the worst. I'm afraid that my friend Carmen Deloso has found himself attached to, or in contract with, or sharing a body with a rather unsavory demon named Azazel. Um, if you could make your way here alone and use at best your discretion to intervene at some point or another, that would be very much appreciated because I have had my power stripped from me and Rhiannon has had her magic cut off.
There is a brief pause, and Helix clearly has a number of questions that they want to ask, but they have also taken into account what you have said about time being limited and of the essence. And so rather than asking those questions, they clarify. Are you asking me as the queen, or are you asking me as a friend?
I have to ask the queen right now. I'm sorry.
And it is not an ask, it is an order. And I will be there.
Before you do, can you send a missive to the seneschal? Can you have a steward send a missive to the seneschal? And I will relay the information Rhiannon has relayed to me.
And Helix nods.
What a lovely day!
Hello,
Perfect timing.
viewers.
Hi.
Welcome.
Hello, Raiders.
We're having a normal time. This is our Regency Monsterhearts game, and it's getting a little intense here. So welcome to the experience. Helix takes in that information and confirms that they will send that information to the Seneschal. They then pause and say, "Is Elise with you?"
She has taken Carmen from the room to grant me a moment to get this out to you.
They may be useful in other ways as well. It is her choice. But I think it is important for you to know that I saw that interaction between her and the Wild Hunt. They could call on him. And that is Helix revealing a hidden string that someone has.
Oh, not Octavia's nemesis.
I don't know what you're talking about.
She gets deeply unserious for a moment and just goes, "We don't need him."
That is your prerogative as queen.
I understand. Thank you for the information. I don't think we want to escalate, but good to know.
I am just taking the threat that my queen is in quite seriously. And I would hope that you would take the threat that your friends are in equally as seriously too.
I wouldn't have contacted you if I wasn't.
And I will be there post haste. Stay safe, Octavia.
Can't do anything else.
And they disappear into the fog.
She resheathes Everfrost and sort of just slides down the wall next to Rhiannon.
Thank you. I'm sorry, that was a big ask.
I asked you, remember?
Yes, but I know something about how responsibilities can weigh on the shoulders.
I think we can help Carmen. Again, nobody understands contract better than us.
Do you think if we broke the contract, Carmen and Damien would die?
If that was the basis for the initial contract, it's very possible.
Okay.
But there are ways around death, as we have seen.
Yes. Buddy!
Bance it.
We're all looking at a cat that you can't quite see on screen,
Oh,
and that
sweet.
is why we're making those faces.
Yeah!
Oh, that face. Vincent! Oh, buddy. Yes, well, if the contract has to have an end date to be considered fulfilled, or just all the requirements met?
Contracts are ongoing, if they want to be.
And
They
if
can be indefinite.
And if the demon breaks the contract, Carmen and Damien would stay alive.
Not necessarily, but the thing is, even if that wasn't the case, this whatever has Carmen in his claws needs Carmen. And that is a weakness we can exploit.
Okay. Thank you, Octavia. I hope we can do something nice, like a picnic.
I was thinking of inviting you and Abigail and Astrid and Elise for tea this season, but given the way things are going, winter's lovely, and I think that you guys will enjoy a good tea there.
I would love to have tea there with you and the other ladies. That sounds wonderful.
I'd like for my life to stop being in danger at some point or another.
I'd love that for you too. And myself. And
to everybody.
everybody. Yeah. It's been a year. It's been a very difficult year.
I mean, don't get too sad. We made friends out of it.
We did.
I hated you when the season started. I mean, hated you.
Oh, I figured. And, oh, there have been good things out of it too. I expected you to hate me out of it, so that was not a surprise.
But the truth comes out eventually, and, well, then, I got more reasonable.
I mean, you always seemed the reasonable type. You just learned a new way to look at things.
I was smarter than Laszlo gave me credit for, and maybe not as smart as everyone else seems to give me credit for. Is where I'm sitting at right now.
Well, someone once told me you get smarter or you get stronger. And she seemed to be a very knowledgeable lady. Perhaps you might take her advice to heart.
It's a work in progress.
And I think with that, we're gonna pan away from the two of you and back into the hallway where Carmen, you blink again and you are standing there with Elise.
I think there's a little bit of a jarring moment when he comes back because in that graveyard, he was definitely on his knees begging. I think almost being shot back to his body. Being granted access back to his body. There is that moment. I think for Elise, it's just a blink of Carmen looking at his hands and then just a jagged breath in as he looks up at her and then deep breath out, centering himself again. And that controlled, neutral face comes back.
You all right?
Quiet. It seems as I said, Elise, you're someone I have come to trust. And I take what you say very seriously. Faith is a strong thing. Faith in the choices of others, and faith in my own choices. And given everything that has happened, faith is what I choose.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome, Raiders.
Thank you for the Wade
Welcome,
waiters.
Raiders.
Don't.
Please, for the love of
Please,
God.
for the love of God.
Raph. When does it end, Raph?
I stab Carmen. Like, I don't.
You know what? Carmen dies. That's all. Don't
You know
roll
what?
for
Actually,
it. It's fine.
Carmen dies in this one.
No.
This is our Regency-flavored Monsterhearts game, so welcome to the emotional damage.
I don't know what you're talking about. It's fine, and we're having a normal one.
It's literally so fine.
We're just two bros chilling in the hallway.
5 feet apart.
But we kind of are gay, though.
But we're kind of
You're super
We're like
gay.
a little bit. You know how it is.
Gay.
History will call us besties or whatever. That is what you choose. Suppose I will have to take your word for it.
Thank you. It is what's right for everyone.
You have to understand, though, that there will be a difference of opinions. On occasion, that has already proven quite true.
Of course. I understand people may take time for everyone to understand. But believe me, I intend to make my intentions very, very clear. I hope you all believe me soon.
I should like to be able to. Though I recommend. There have been, it seems, a slew of rash decisions as of late. Wouldn't you agree? When, inevitably, people deign to disagree with you and yours, perhaps at times it is best to give them that inch, so that your hand might be free to take the mile.
I see. Is this like the inch you gave Fitz's family?
I imagine we would have different methods, perhaps. Suffice to say, that was not my inch to give, and had already been extended. Plenty.
Of course.
Those were not my decisions to make. Mine are elsewhere.
I can promise you an inch.
Then I shall take it. It is not me that I think will need it.
And If you're cool.
Yeah, by all means.
And so the two of you step back inside the bedroom to see Octavia, assuming that she is still kind of leaning near Rhiannon there, and Rhiannon in exactly the same place that you left them in.
Mm-hmm.
Which I think for you, Carmen, is a moment of internal conflict, because on the one hand, good, that was what was intended. On the other hand, are you sure you intended that?
I think that question is smothered as quickly as it comes up. I shall not doubt again.
You feel a sense of approval, but maybe that's not approval. Maybe that's confidence in yourself and your choices and actions.
I think Carmen I think Carmen walks up to Rhiannon and leans in and quietly just says, "Thank you for listening."
Of course. May I move now? I'm not going to run out the door.
Do as you please.
Rhiannon will just flex her hands and just take a step back. Are you going to take it off?
Carmen glances at Elise and stands very straight and says, "I will not."
And how long is this arrangement supposed to last?
Until you are sufficiently rested.
And what would you deem to be sufficiently rested?
I'm not sure. You haven't started.
Haven't been able to.
I have a question, Mr. Delosa.
Of course.
If you can halt my abilities with the wave of a hand, if that is so simple for you, since this father has made you so strong, you need the collar.
He makes me strong of faith. He does not overuse his powers.
And still you saw fit to manage my every move with naught but your words.
Your every move. Now, my queen, you are exaggerating.
No, take no actions? It's a very strong command.
It was a suggestion.
I think you only wish that it was.
Either way, I appreciate that you didn't. I sense there's tension. And as I've said, Rhiannon needs rest.
Oh, are you telling them to leave my house?
We are in your room. Do you plan to rest while we're here?
No, if they must leave, then I certainly don't want to keep them. But I do hope you understand, Carmen, that you never needed Father Adams to be strong.
You didn't know me before then.
I did.
No,
I knew you before he arrived during the ritual.
that wasn't me.
I mean, it was you.
We've shared a couple of seasons. And there were moments before, when we were younger, you wouldn't remember. So I don't think you ever saw. But I always saw you.
Well, I wish I could have met you before. It would have been rather difficult given my father, but it is a shame.
I don't think it's a shame at all. It has led us to now, when we are to be together.
He didn't lead us together, Carmen.
He's part of the path.
What is he getting out of this? Exactly.
So far,
Mm-hmm.
my faith.
Nothing else.
Place to rest.
I understand he had a place to rest before he came into this realm.
We've already had this conversation. You ask me. You doubt me. I say nothing wrong has been done. He has not caused any sort of wicked doing.
Have you seen your
And the
yard as of
questions
late?
come back again.
Have you seen your yard as of late?
The yard. Is that a wicked doing? Creating a portal? Is that not what you did through the mirror? Is that not what
That's
Abigail
different.
does every time she travels?
Those clothes. Well, then we should be able to close it no problem.
Perhaps we will. Once you've sufficiently rested.
Well, I mean, you should be able to do it right now, yes?
Good.
Be one less thing for me to worry about.
I'll consider it. Well, it's been a long
Rhiannon,
night.
would you like to roll with hot?
Who, me?
Mm-hmm.
I would, actually. I would.
What? Interesting. GM.
It's my sheet. I don't think I've used that roll in a while. That is a 9.
And so with that, Raph, I will of course give the choice to you.
Yeah.
Would you like to give Rhiannon a string, to give yourself to them, to promise them something that you think they want? I don't think you're going to get embarrassed and act awkward, but that is also an option.
Mm-hmm. I think I will promise something I think they want. I think they've made it very clear what they would like me to promise to do.
And I think in that moment, Carmen, before you perhaps say more on that out loud, you feel that conflict start to build it up again, because what they're saying makes sense. You want them to rest. That portal has caused a lot of stress, and I mean, really, why is it needed? You can talk to Father Adams without the help of that space easily. It's not like he's been bound there and that is your only point of connection. This would help Rhiannon. And you feel in turn a sense that Father Adams would be very, very disappointed if that would happen. But how do those pieces fit together? Because he also wants to take care of Rhiannon.
I think choices are being made. I think Carmen doesn't break his face. In fact, I think he smiles very gently and very widely to Rhiannon and says, I will handle it. It will be gone before the morning.
That sounds wonderful.
And I'll just message you, JD.
Please do. And as you message me this, I have a question for Elise. What is going through Elise's head as they watch this scene unfold?
You know, funny you should ask. Not how she was expecting Carmen to handle this situation, which is both confusing and delightful now. She's curious if this is not the inch, then what will be, I think. If the collar coming off is not the inch, either it's much bigger of an issue than he's letting on, or it is so much smaller. That's fun. It's an interesting thought. But now there's talk of portals. And of doors and of closing them, and that I think is much more immediately interesting. So I think sort of as this conversation is happening and Carmen agrees to the closing of that portal, I think there is a very sharp but gentle hand at his arm. Would you like some help with that?
You can attend if you'd like, but no help is needed.
Understood.
If it makes Rhiannon feel more comfortable.
What? Just to have it gone for good.
Having Elise there.
If Rhiannon is looking at Elise, trying to gauge, like, are you good? Are you sure?
Oh,
Like,
Lisa's fine. Lisa's
throughout this
great.
conversation, Rhiannon has been very much like still obviously very hurt, but still very much like trying to like don't be rash, because being rash is how you fuck up. We're trying not to add to the mistakes, but just if Elise is like giving her the like, yes, good, we're good. Just like Rhiannon's gonna nod, just be like, yes, that would be good.
Lisa's expression is very much like, I've got this. Like, I am keeping an eye on him. We see each other. Like,
Okay.
Do it now. Do it now.
Would you like to also be present, Octavia?
Close the portal now.
Well, why don't we all go and just watch it close?
Well, you need rest.
Yes, once it's
You
closed,
said-
I'll be able to rest. And the garden is very soothing as well. I'd like it to be as soothing as it once was.
You said no help was needed. She wouldn't need to lift a finger.
Exactly.
We could bring a chair out for her.
She wouldn't have to move an inch. Very pointed look. Carmen.
All right. Let's bring a chair.
And so the four of you make your way out to the garden where the portal to hell that has been there since the ritual that went awry 2 seasons ago has resided. I do have one question, and it was a question I almost sent to Raph earlier, but I wanted to ask them on stream.
Yeah. What's up?
No.
What have you been building?
I think when everyone goes out to the back gardens, before we open the door that leads to the back garden, he turns to Rhiannon and says, "This was supposed to be a surprise, but I suppose it will have to do for now."
Of course.
And I think the door opens, and sitting on top of the black ring of thorns and vines is I don't know if it's fully complete, a partially built gazebo. It lays within the ring of black. Flora, and it's made of white wood. I didn't have time to finish it.
Oh,
but
Rhiannon kind of takes a moment to just take a deep breath and try not to like get emotional. Just like, no, it looks lovely.
you said you wanted the back garden to look beautiful. And I wanted to make a space that we could share together back here. I know how much this space, beyond just this home, but this space means to us. I wanted to commemorate it. I'm sorry you don't get to see it in its full glory yet, but
Oh, I'm sure it's going to be beautiful once you finish it.
you will promise to act surprised then.
I will act surprised, yes.
Good. And I think he gingerly places a chair on the lawn, like dusts the seat a little bit, and then I think standing next to the chair extends a hand to help Rhiannon sit in like a courteous way. Yeah.
And Rhiannon she hesitates a moment, but she accepts. As she sits in the chair, she just kind of looks at the gazebo and at Carmen and just quietly asks, "Are you ever going to forgive me for not getting the ritual right on the first try?"
Hannon, there was nothing to forgive.
Are you sure?
I think he gets down to be on her level and says, every day I spend with you is a gift I should never have been granted. You offering your magic to save me, to save my brother. That is the kindest thing anyone has done for me. I could never fault you for that.
And Rhiannon just kind of takes that in, just fights back any argument or counterpoint she would make because she knows arguing is not going to make any headway and she wants this portal closed. So she's just going to nod and just say, "Thank you for telling me that."
If you ever need a reminder of how much you mean to me, you truly needn't ask.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Right.
the portal.
Right. And Carmen approaches the black ring at the front of the gazebo. And I think if you're looking carefully, it seems as though his hands are shaking. And he's going to I think get on his knees. And you see the black tipped fingers he forces them into the ground inside of the black ring. His fingers just sink into the earth. And I think he begins to pray very, very quietly.
What does he say?
I think he's very scared at this moment. There is this balance or a pendulum going from fear to strength or confidence. And it flashes between his face. And I think quietly, under his breath, they just say, Father, I call to you now. This door was left open, the threshold left bare. I ask of you, please help me.
And you hear the answering response to that piece with, of course, my son.
And I think with that answer, you see Carmen's arms begin to sink into the earth. They go up to his wrist, then up to his elbows, then all the way up to his shoulders. It looks as though he's being both absorbed, but also like digging into the earth. And you see the black vines that surround the outer ring of the gazebo begin to wiggle like snakes. And they get pulled toward him. And they crawl up his body. And at one point, it looks like he's completely covered in them. And then you see, as he's shaking and sweating with much effort, he forces the vines into the earth. And they are just absorbed back in, like just sucked into the ground where his hands meet. And the black ring follows suit. And I think that what's left is just dead dirt, whatever grass or weed might be there, brown, trodden on. And as he pulls his arms back out of the earth, when his fingertips finally leave the ground, the last vines sink in. And his arms fall to his side, and he is just staring into the sky.
I am going to let all of you know that you have about 5 to 10 seconds to respond to this before
What?
several things are about to happen.
What?
And so I would be curious to know, in the immediate aftermath of this, how Rian and Elise and Octavia respond.
I'm so scared. What the fuck, JD? I think Rhiannon has just had the moment the vines came out and the blackness started to shrink. Rhiannon was just crying because that had been such a wound and a reminder of what had happened. And she'd been trying so hard to get rid of it, and nothing had seemed to work, and now it's just gone. But she knows, like, oh, this probably is good. There's no direct access to hell near me now, but at the same time, she's like, but the demon's still here and nothing has been fixed yet. But this was fixed, and it's a mix of like, this might have been progress, but also knowing there's so much more. So she's just been just tears just down her face, and then seeing Carmen collapse, he gets up and she goes over to him and kneels down beside him and just takes his hand and just says, "Thank you. Are you all right?"
I think Carmen, still just staring at the sky with a very quiet, hoarse voice, says, "I promised an inch."
What?
Carmen does not have a chance to answer. Elise?
Elise has been watching this all go down very intently. She's got reason to want to know why these portals are want to do what they do and how to open them and close them and all of that. So she's quite interested in exactly how Carmen manages to make this happen. Very intently listening to the prayer that he's saying and who it sounds like that was directed at. And is thinking very, very heavily on all of that. But when he sort of gets back up a little bit, there is, I think, this very soft, slow clap from off to the side. And she looks like she's still kind of thinking, but she looks a little bit amused.
And Elise, I think that is the moment as you are acknowledging Carmen's effort. You're going through what they just did in closing this portal. And you can't figure out exactly what it is in this immediate moment, but something feels wrong. And if you were anything other than a vampire, you would not recognize that absolutely nothing changed with the smell of sulfur that has been wafting off of this portal the entire time. Visually, this looks complete, but that's not what the rest of your senses are telling you.
I think she just sort of starts chuckling very softly. She's quite amused at this. Um, it doesn't matter if Carmen didn't actually do anything. There is something that has been done here that deserves acknowledging, because regardless, impressive.
Octavia,
I'm torn between two courses of action. I do need to know if I have access to my powers again or not.
you do.
Okay. Um, I'll tell you what. I'm gonna roll for it, odds and evens. Hi, Tater.
Odds.
It was evens. Tater's gonna potate. Then yeah. Odds was gonna be break the collar. Evens was gonna be this. Um, buddy, what's up? Come here. Sorry, he's being unnecessary. Um, I don't think Helix has arrived. Correct? There's
You
no.
have not seen them.
Okay. Then I think Octavia is going to approach Carmen as well and kneel down. You assaulted royalty of the Winter Court, and I would like to help you. I'm afraid this is the only way you're going to let me. Carmen Deloso, for assault of a regent of Fairy, and assault of an ally of the Fairy Court, you are under arrest.
And I love that an incredible amount. I'm gonna need all of you to trust me in what is about to happen.
Yo, what the fuck? We gotta help. What's
Because
happening?
what
I
happens
can't live
Are we going?
there.
is you say that, Octavia, and you are the queen. Your words carry a command that cannot be ignored. But you have specifically arrested Carmen Deloso. You have not arrested Father Adams. And so you all see these roiling shadows start surrounding Carmen's body. Two red glowing eyes in the center as it gets larger and larger. And there is a figure who easily towers 20 feet in the air, made of this mass of constantly moving shadows. And they go to claw at you, Octavia. And in that exact moment, an arrow goes through Carmen's chest. And blood splatters across the white gazebo. As those shadows disappear and Carmen falls. And you see Helix on horseback, bow in hand, staring at the three of you and Carmen's body on the ground. And that is where we are going to end
Yo,
this session.
Oh my god! Bro!
Where's the demon? Is it still there?
I know. Carmen died. The contract's broken.
Correct. That
No more
has
shadow
been
demon.
established.
So it's gone? There's no, the shadow demon's gone, or is it still standing right there?
Shadow demon is gone.
For now. Oh no!
Hey, Carmen, sorry about that. Sorry.
I feel like I need to screen cap something Raph sent me, just because of the context.
Which one?
If he dies, he dies.
Hey, buddy.
Please do. Like, I genuinely forgot about that.
You forgot.
I don't forgot.
My
I
memory
told
is
you to
not
kill
strong.
him.
We had a good time tonight. We had such a good time. Isn't it good that we added one more session?
Yeah. Oh my god.
Listen.
Oh my god. If we hadn't, we would have been right fucking now, JD.
And then we would have had to go to season 4.
Uh-huh.
Oh no.
Oh, this is not on.
And there's a
Rip.
lot of housekeeping we're going to be doing at the start of next episode. Yes,
Hey,
Kit,
sorry,
I am
Carmen.
definitely keeping that in mind, that Elise is going to have to roll for this.
Oh,
I don't know what you're talking about. At least it's fine and
Oh,
normal and having a
no.
regular one.
Oh, guy.
Oh.
I'm dead! The Wicked
Again.
Witch is dead!
You've died so many times, Carmen.
I
We're just going to
know.
need to start a tally.
Somewhere in London, Abigail has like a fucking great feeling. You know what I mean?
Abigail
She's getting zapped with,
smiles
like, a-
somewhere.
Something's
has
good about today.
improved.
There's a good smell in the air.
So
Oh,
I am
shit.
realizing I failed at something. I did not have all of you do your intros today. We
Oh
just
my
dove
God.
right into the story.
That's what
I
We
mean.
were so excited.
I completely
And that
forgot
just
about
occurred
that.
to me in preparation for outros, where I was like,
my
that's
God.
something we didn't do.
Lol.
Incredible.
It's fine. We don't need introduction. The characters speak through us.
Season 3.
We are simply vessels.
Incredible.
I started
And-
this season with Octavia's just gonna go on dates and have a good time.
Well, I mean, you
That's-
did go.
She did
That
go
was
on
my
dates.
pitch. She went on a date and then shit started going south real fast.
I think she's had at least one good time, right? Right?
Arguable. It's arguable. We're not sure. It's bad choices all the way down, gang.
I mean,
What
that's
you
been the name of
possibly
the
mean by
game.
Oh no.
And so, with that, Kit, I am going to drop us into outros, and you are going to be up first.
Is it me, Jesus?
It is. Remind everyone of who you are, why you're awesome, and the cool things you're doing.
I don't know about all that, but hey guys, Kit, I've been a menace and a terror. You can find me most places on the internet at Kit Roll, sometimes at Kit Roll Cause, don't worry too much about it. When I'm not here being Elise Clarendon, absolute darkest self of all time, you can catch me in some other places, being terrorized elsewhere. Every other Wednesday, you can catch Beacons of Farlight. I will let Jeet talk a little bit more about that, but it is a funky little campaign over on High Shelf. I'm a little AI, and I'm eating all my feelings. Not in the way that you'd expect. It's very delightful, very post-apocalyptic. We're having a normal one over there. Every other Saturday, you can catch me over on Lost Caravan with Fatal Ascension. We are rounding out this season quickly and swinging. I'm a little robot over there, and we're gonna fight death again. It's that one, I will admit, we're having a weird one. But it's gonna be good. Nobody's gonna. We're all gonna survive it, probably in some way, shape, or form, if only in memory. And then Sundays in June, you can catch me around Sword and Key, where we will be taking up that brunch slot with a little public access game. So we'll be doing some creepypasta investigating shenanigans circa 2004. We're bringing back our Y2K fashion, our slang, our flip phones. So for 4 weeks only, you can catch that over there. It's going to be delightful and terrifying. But when I am not in front of your face, I am in your ears all of the time. If you like magical girls, if you like queer narratives, if you like stories of prying hope and love and gay feelings from the jaws of defeat, you can catch Bloom and Blight wherever you get your podcast. It's a Girl by Moonlight actual play podcast, where we are having a time. We just put out a new episode this week, so now's a good time to catch up. If you feel so inclined, if you want to hang out with us on socials, you can find announcements for episodes and clips sometimes, and things like that over on all the socials at Bloom and Blight, all spelled out. And for cast and character information, transcripts of all of our episodes, and a link to the community Discord server for the podcast network, you can go to bloomandblight.com. I think that's it. I think I'm like nice and quick this time around. So keep an eye on socials. I will post more as there's more to post about. Take it away.
And again, I was correct. Look at all of the amazing things that Kid is doing. They are awesome.
I get cool stuff sometimes. And I think, I just like to be a terror.
And with that, Steph, you are up next.
Me? Hi,
Yeah.
I'm Steph. I've been Brienne and Serena Care with the Witch Playbook. It's, the breakup is not going how she imagined, and she wishes it was easier to just stop loving someone the moment they betrayed you, but everything is messy in this game. Well, when you started gaslighting everyone, she was like, I wish I could hate real hard. But it's not that simple because this game is mess, but it's okay, I love mess. So, hi, you can catch me in, is it 2 weeks at this table again?
Yes.
June.
Yes,
Pride.
yes.
Happy Pride will
Happy
be at
Pride.
for this dating game. Sorry, I'm just, woo! She saw her boyfriend die. This is fine. You can catch me every other Tuesday at Entropy Emporium in JD's horror mask game. They call us villains, where I am just a little bean, little doomed. She's fine. She has superior teeth. You'll love her. You'll love all the cool kids there, and hate most of the adults. And then every other Thursday, Live from the Apocalypse, I am in JD's homebrew game Redacted, where we are so full of ghosts. I think we all have our ghosts. And that's going to be real fun. See if Rebecca gets to meet the burned and what that might look like for the religious trauma group. Yeah, we'll see if that happens. But yeah, that's where you can find me.
It's a normal time in that game, too. I need you all to understand that every game I run is so very normal. All right, JT, you are up next.
Hi everyone, I'm JT. I'm at WeebJeet on Twitter, but pronouns are they, them. Tonight, I was Octavia Can't Catch a Fucking Break Frostpin. Queen Octavia. You get the gist. You can find me here in 2 weeks also, for the same thing that the rest of them are going to be here for. You can find me every other Wednesday on Lost Caravan or High Shelf Collective. On Lost Caravan, I'm playing Caldwell, a goofy little scientist boy who has done nothing wrong ever, and is just trying to get his friends off of a planet they don't want to be on. The alternative week, you can find me bullying my players in Beacons of Farlight, where they are going through severe amounts of involuntary emotional breakdown. And that will continue to happen because it's going to get real funky over the next 2 episodes. And then we're doing a Beacon Bite. We're getting the Session Zero scheduled. This one is casino themed, and they are playing Children of a Crime Family, and they are vying for the top dog spot. So that's going to be the gimmick of that. You can find me in the Entropy Emporium Discord. I run things over there, sort of. We got some games coming up. We had a game get postponed, sort of. But we got Invisible Sun coming up, D&D coming up. We got They Call Us Villains running. We recently started doing Phasmo Fridays. That's going to be a irregular, semi-irregular thing that my partner does with whoever is online at the moment. That's all I got for now. I'm running out of things to plug that I can remember, so I'm gonna throw it to Raph.
Yeah, well, we'll throw it over to Raph, who I
Are
feel
you sure
bad
about that?
because I keep killing Raph in the games that I run, and I'm starting to feel a little guilty.
Listen, it's a brand, and I have to just give it to you. There's a brand beginning between our in games that I'm in that you run, where I become a villain and then I die. So things are great over here. What's up? I'm Raph. I played Carmen Deloso, Infernal Playbook. What else? Next. Shit, I don't have it on my calendar. You can find me every other Saturday here for Class Reunion, the 5e D&D homebrew game that Will runs, where I play a barbarian warlock, just trying to get out of my paramour's body and back into my own. You know what I mean? You know when you're just stuck inside your crush's body? Isn't that a weird feeling?
It's really hard to go from beefcake to twink.
It's really hard to go from beefcake daddy to twink boy. So, it's fine. It's fine. Everything's great. I think that's it. Come hang out. Maybe I'll be back in 2 weeks. Maybe Carmen's dead.
Yeah,
That's all I have to say about that.
New character? Question?
New character for one whole session.
For one session.
Raph shows up as the Wild Hunt.
I just let you play
I
next.
am just a fool.
Just Nile. Wait.
That would make Will so mad.
It would make
Wait, it kind of fucks though.
That would be so funny.
Octavia is so
Much to think about.
much to
Much
So
to
much
think
to think
about.
about.
I could
Consider-
save him, says Rhiannon, who hasn't saved him yet. Not getting
Maybe
a complex.
third time's a charm? Third time's
Yeah,
a charm?
maybe. We'll
Maybe
find
third
out
time's
again.
a charm.
Use your
Listen.
stalker gifts.
Yeah. Play to find out, right, JD?
Burn
Listen,
all of
a
those
light
stalker gifts.
lobotomy?
Went
She
downhill.
didn't know they're stalker gifts. That's the thing. She doesn't know he's a stalker.
Stalker gifts.
Mm,
They were
a little
You know,
presents.
They were presents. They were presents.
See what
Absolutely
happens.
not,
Carmen
Raph.
goes ooh and is immediately murdered.
It's fine. Anyway.
All right, I'm going to bring us home. I'm going to bring us home by some miracle. I'm going to bring us home. So, all right. Hi, I am JD. I am one of the organizers and storytellers and players with Live from the Apocalypse. I am here a lot running this game as well as a couple of others. In the next couple of days, you can find me here for Thy Kingdom Come, where I am a player in our religious trauma dystopian theocracy game where everything is fine and my character is doing great. Don't worry about him. He is very stable. You can then find me over on Entropy Emporium for They Call Us Villains on Tuesday, because next week is the week I run all the games. That is our Masks horror game, and it is a good time, and nothing bad ever happens. On Thursday, you'll find me back here with Live from the Apocalypse, running Redacted, our psychological horror game, which was the first time I killed Raph, which was a great ending for their character.
It was wonderful.
And then I'll be back here running the other table of a season of Secrets and Shadows, a third season of Secrets and Shadows on Friday, and we'll see where that goes. And then I'll be back here once more for Class Reunion, where I am not playing the twink that I usually play because Raph's character is piloting them, their body. I am instead playing Lindsay Ardane, who is just glad to be included. Just glad that this party is letting him join on these wild and wacky adventures. And then I'll be with Exquisite Corpse Presents for Sister Cities next Saturday night. I will have plenty of time to mention all of the other things I'm a part of. There's a couple of them. Don't worry about it. I don't play too many games. You play too many games. But it is late. We have been, we've run a little late for today. It is Saturday, and it is also later where Raph exists because of the time difference.
Nah.
So in an effort to let them sleep, I'm going to take us to the thanks for watching screen. I will then see if there is anyone to raid. I'm guessing probably not, but we appreciate all of you who watched and tuned in for this wild and chaotic ride today. And Live from the Apocalypse will be dropping a podcast episode of Academy AHR Masks Actual Play Podcast tomorrow. You are not going to want to miss it. It is starting a new arc. And it is a big one. So check that out. It'll be dropping tomorrow, and then we'll be back with That Kingdom Come on Monday. So with that, say goodnight to everyone cast.
Good night,
Good night to everyone
everyone.
cast.
Good night.